Hello, everyone. My name is Chris. I work for Gene Cook Supports as an IT consultant, and today I want to show you how you're going to set up your new iPads that you're going to get. This is a very straightforward process. The iPads will basically set up for you, but I want to kind of walk through the setup screens in the very beginning, just so nobody gets confused. If you have iPads in the past and you know how to use them, this is going to be even easier for you. So let's just start with grab your new iPad. Okay, take it out of the box. Once it's out of the box, you'll see that there's some little wrappers on them. Go ahead and peel those off. Okay. Once you have them off, you want to fire up your new iPad. Okay. At the top of the screen, you know it's the top because here's the little web camera. At the top right, you'll see a little button up here. Press and hold that in until the iPad turns on. You'll see the little Apple logo. Once that turns on, give it a minute and we'll walk through the initial setup screens to get you going. This will be backwards for you, but you can see it says hello. Just press the button down below here to get started. The first setup screen is asking you the language. I'm going to go ahead and hit English. Just tap on the screen lightly, just like you would a cell phone. Select your country or region. I'm going to select the United States. And I apologize if I have a glare here, so I'm just going to hold the iPad kind of on an angle. Okay, this screen here says Quick Start Setup. It'll ask you to bring a different iPhone nearer to help set it up. Just skip all that and go to the bottom and select Setup Manually. This is where you'll need to be on the internet. And it's asking you to choose a Wi-Fi network. Now, this is a mandatory step because we have to get onto the internet to bring down the management software that goes onto it and all the applications that you're going to use. So I'm just going to take a second here to put in my Wi-Fi password at my house. If you're at home, just select your network and put in your password. Sorry, my password is pretty long. And then hit join. Okay, and you'll see your wireless network. Get a check mark on it and join. Click next at the top right-hand corner. It says it may take a few minutes to activate your iPad. So we'll give it a minute here. A couple things while we're waiting. So these iPads will be under management with Gene Cook Supports. That means a few things. That means we'll be able to offer you support on our end if you have any trouble. It also means that we'll be able to push out applications to the iPads for you. You won't have access to the App Store. You won't have access to the internet right now. Only certain things you'll be able to get to the internet and use. The Therap browser, SanData, those two apps, the GCS web page, things like that. That can change down the road, but this is just how we're doing it right now. Okay, so you can see how it says remote management. This is what I meant by putting the management software on it. It says Gene Cook Supports will automatically configure your iPad. A little brief explanation. So just hit the next at the top right. Installing configuration from Gene Cook Supports. So this will start setting it up for you. It'll take a few minutes. Just let that go ahead and do that. And as soon as that's done, I'll be back for the next part. Thank you. All right, so once you're past the first initial few screens, you're gonna come to a screen labeled Touch ID. This is basically the fingerprint reader that gets you into your iPad. You could set this up or not set it up. I highly recommend setting it up though. It makes life so much easier and it makes your iPad more secure. It's going to be hard for me to show you exactly how to set this up while holding it like this, but you're basically going to hit continue and just walk through the prompts. It's going to have you use your thumb or your finger. It's easier to use your thumb, I think. And then you're just going to press it onto the home button lightly. Like, don't press the button all the way in. You're going to press it in, let go, press it in, let go, so it can take a full scan of your thumbprint. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Just walk through that. It'll set up your thumbprint. So I'm going to skip that on mine for now. The next screen is to create a passcode or a password for your iPad. This is important because if anytime your iPad restarts or your iPad's off and then you turn it back on, it's going to require a passcode. It won't work just your thumb, your fingerprint reader. So don't forget this passcode. It's also alphanumeric, so you're going to need at least one letter and one number. And it has to also be at least 6 characters long. So letters and numbers, 6 characters. I'm going to create mine real quick here. It'll ask you to enter it again. Okay, the next screen is keep your iPad up to date. Get the latest features and improvements by updating iOS automatically. You're just going to hit continue here. Now, location service, this is also important. You need to enable location services. This will help us push down the applications to you, the app updates, all that. So please hit enable. So now that you made it through the initial setup screens, you'll come to the iPad's home screen. As you can see, there isn't that very many apps on it right now. It's in the process of pulling down new apps that will be coming down momentarily. So you will just have to give it a few minutes, leave your iPad on, give it a few minutes, and you'll be able to see the applications being installed. Let's give it a second here and see if we can watch that process. Okay, it took a couple minutes, but you could see new apps starting to install. There's the Therap app. Down here, Zoom is installing, as you can see. This happens automatically. You'll just have to give it a couple minutes. You're connected to your Wi-Fi, and all of the apps that are assigned to you will be installed. So I'll kind of go through them here real quick. You'll have your SanData mobile app that you guys are familiar with, your Therap app. You'll also have the Therap browser, which basically takes you to Therap on the internet. That's if, for whatever reason, there's an issue with the Therap app on the iPad, you could always use that. Then you have your standard built-in apps. You have the camera, calendar, notes, reminders, clock, maps, photos app. And then you have this one called SOS. What that is called Splashtop SOS. It's a remote management tool. Basically, it would allow one of us to remote to your iPad if you ever had a problem. You'd have to allow us to do that, of course, and you would be prompted to allow us on the actual iPad. And we wouldn't be able to control your iPad, but we would be able to see what you're seeing. So we'd be able to see your screen, you know, if you had an error message or something. I don't anticipate that really happening, but it's there as a precaution. I'm sorry, this thing's kind of hard to hold with one hand. Then you have Zoom. Everyone knows what that is. And then this one is the GCS web page. So I'll take you right to our web page. Show you that real quick. Yeah, right there. So the other thing of note would be down here in this little, the toolbar here, is that this app is called Self-Service. This is going to be like the App Store that you're used to, but it's the Gene Cook Support App Store, basically. So we can preload that with applications that you would need. you let your supervisor know or let someone know that you need an app for a specific reason, and a bunch of people need that app, we can load that on here. It'll go to this store, and then you could download it to the iPad. This says it wants to send you notifications. Just hit allow and then continue. And you can see there's already some in there right now. If they say reinstall, that means they're already on your iPad, because we saw SOS was already on there and TheraUp. There's some on here that are not installed on your iPad, but you have the ability to install them, like Adobe Acrobat Reader. You could press that and install it. Chrome, GoToMeetings. So if you want to see that real quick, let's put GoToMeetings on there. So all we would do is hit install, and it'll start to install onto your actual iPad. That's nice to have, so we could push out any new apps that you guys would use. Down here also, you can see notifications. If we ever want to push out any information to you, we could do it through here, and you'll get a notification like you would on a cell phone. It would pop up from the top of the screen and say you have a note of some sort, and then you could come in here and it'll show you what that is. We may utilize that in the future. What else? Yeah, I think that's about it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, the internet, you're not going to be able to really use this. This is taking you to the GCS web page, so you can use that. But say that you wanted to browse to, let's just say, msn.com, for example. Hit go. You're going to get a message that says restricted site. Okay. Right now, we're just basically using these for TheraUp and SAN data. That's it. Like I said before, if management wants to open these up more to get to other sites and the internet, then that's something they'll decide in the future. Another big thing of note is that these iPads are Wi-Fi, wireless, and cell data enabled. I shouldn't say enabled. They have the ability to use cell data, but we don't have a cell plan as of right now. Okay, so in order to use the iPad and use your TheraUp app and your SAN data, you're going to have to be on the internet. You'll have to be on Wi-Fi, either at your house, at a client site, on a hotspot, whatever the case may be. We got them so we could add a cell data plan eventually. We haven't done that as of right now. So just be aware that you will need to be connected to a wireless source to use those when you're out on location, client side or whatever. Okay, I think that's it for now. You'll hear more from me in the future. I can make other videos if you guys are having any issues with anything. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.